5 tips for dealing with a relationship with a third person, important. Think again about moving forward or backward in the relationship. All couples certainly have hopes of being able to establish a healthy and lasting relationship. Although in reality, the relationship is not always smooth, because there are problems that may take turns. One of the problems could be the presence of a third person. The presence of a third person can indeed be a disaster in the relationship. If your relationship starts to be inserted by a third person, then you can deal with it with the following important tips. 1. Always set boundaries in the relationship. The first way is to create boundaries in the relationship. Basically, not many couples create boundaries, so the presence of a third person seems very easy to happen. These boundaries can include interactions with the opposite sex or even privacy in the relationship. Without boundaries, other people will easily interfere in your relationship. Therefore, make clear boundaries in the relationship. 2. Know the cause of the third person. The presence of a third person certainly seems to be a separate problem that disrupts the relationship. However, actually everything that happens must have its own cause. It's the same if your relationship starts to be inserted with the presence of a third person. You must first know what is the main cause. Later you can find the best solution if you already know the cause. Don't just assume, but regret it later. 3. Communicate with your partner. After all, being in a relationship is certainly done together with your partner. This makes any problem should be able to find a solution together, so as to find the best solution. You can communicate with your partner if you feel that the relationship is starting to be inserted by a third person. Through this communication, you can certainly read the intentions and ways of thinking of your partner. Thus, you can be wiser in finding solutions. 4. Focus on strengthening the relationship. Not all relationships that are inserted by a third person have to end up falling apart. Sometimes the presence of a third person just happens as a temptation, so it's not something that is done on purpose. This is what makes you and your partner should both maintain a closer relationship. Through a close relationship, there will be no gaps that can be inserted by a third person. 5. Do not hesitate to take decisive action if it has gone too far. You may have your own views when your relationship starts to be hit by third-person issues. This is what you should find out more about to understand how far the third person has come. If indeed the third person is deemed excessive, then immediately find the best way out. One of them is being firm not to extend the relationship. Especially if the presence of the third person is actually caused by the behavior of an unfaithful partner. It certainly feels very betrayed if the relationship falls apart because of the presence of a third person. This is what makes couples have to make extra efforts to keep the relationship away from the presence of a third person. Keep the loyalty, yes.